reading it backwards now.
I think this is a good note for everybody out there.
He says that I don't pull well on TikTok, so
He doesn't.
It's
It's just a fact. It just doesn't pull well. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not selfish media.
I just gotta clear something up. You weren't the 12th man on the field.
Right.
There is no easy way to get anything ever.
This is Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to start off right here. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel, share this channel, like
Please
it,
do.
comment on it, help us spread that light-driven content to the planet. All right, so today we're talking about Chapter 6 of the book, Acting is My Day Job, 7 Strategies to Market and Make Money as an Actor. So as before, I'm going to start off with a quote here from the book. The road to success is through commitment. Will Smith. The road to success is through commitment. That one's by Will Smith.
Okay.
You know, it was tough. Breaking down and deciding which quotes to use.
I bet.
Because there were so many good quotes from all these people, and especially Will Smith. That dude's got so many good quotes.
Yeah.
But I like this idea of commitment because when it comes to running your business as an actor, there's a few points to go through, but you really got to treat this thing like a business. I mean, you have to believe that this is your day job, that this is the thing that you do, or it never will be the thing that you do. And there is this weird thing about what you focus on comes true. It's just those are sort of facts.
Facts.
So when you put your mind to something, when you focus on something, that becomes your reality a lot of the times. And so I just told our teenagers this last night. Actually, we sat around in a circle and we just had some grateful time, I call it, and we went around talking about what we're grateful for. And I mentioned to him, I said, I know that things are kind of nuts right now, but if you look for it and you find the good and you focus on the good, good things happen. Focus on the good, good things happen. Mm-hmm. And I also told him, I said, I know you're teenagers, and so some of you are going to be rebelling against different ideas, but so I'm not forcing anything down your throat. But truth is, if you replace the word good with God, it works too. Focus on God, and God things happen, which is so true. But if you focus on the good, good things happen. Well, whatever you focus on, whatever you put your mind into, tends to be what comes, right? And so here as an actor, or you are an entrepreneur. If you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur. If you are somebody who's just trying to follow your passion and do your own thing, if you're trying to run your own Instagram account and make money that way, you're an entrepreneur. You have to understand, and the word entrepreneur has been something that has been glorified by the media. It's been glorified by Facebook and all these stories of these huge companies that started in their garage and then became this big, massive, things. And then all of a sudden Uber pops up and you got Lyft and you got, you name it. All these little tech companies that blew up and you hear about these entrepreneurs out there, and it became this like glorified thing. Well, the truth of the matter is, it ain't easy to be an entrepreneur. Like, that's not, you're not choosing the easy road by any stretch of the imagination. Now, there are some great things about being an entrepreneur, 100%. But a lot of times people don't focus on the amount of grind and the amount of work that it takes to make it through. Who do we got on there right now?
We got
Jakota?
Dakota, Astrid, and Breezy.
You know, it's about time Dakota's back on the show watching. Dakota, come on, man. Where you been all my life? Dakota Banana.
Dang.
Love that guy.
Like half like yeah, and a half like where you been, dog? You know,
Yeah.
like a half guilt trip, but then also like a half like good.
I
for
see
you
I
for
see
making it.
Breezy's up in the morning.
Yeah,
Easy breezy.
beautiful.
I wonder how she
cover
feels
girl.
about that. Easy breezy, beautiful.
Beautiful cover girl.
She probably likes it.
Every time you say that, I'm just gonna finish with beautiful cover girl.
Of course you. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of what I do.
All right. So I wrote in the book in this first in this opening beat here.
Oh, and my dad said, "And dad." It
Hey,
just showed up.
hey, daddy-o. All right, so I wrote in this opening part here that this is what it feels like to be an entrepreneur. If anybody's experienced this, you graduate high school or you graduate college, and what happens is in the last couple of years of schooling, when you know you're going to be done with school, you're just over it, and you think like, I can't wait for school to be over. I cannot wait for this part of my life to be done and to start the entrepreneurship, to start the job, or to get out in the real world and whatnot. And so you grind, you finally finish school, and you're like, finally I'm done. And then blah. Like, then what? Then you're in the real world and you're like, oh, this is what the real world feels like. It's not as glamorous as I thought it was going to be. It turns out there aren't like 12 jobs waiting for me, guaranteed to make 80 grand a year to start. Like the dream that I had sitting there, it doesn't just happen. Like, you got to go out and work for it. Like, you got to go out and get it. And you feel this sense of like, oh, like, now what do I do? Like, what do I do now? And if you don't get a job right away, especially, all of a sudden you're twiddling your thumbs and you don't have anybody telling you to wake up anymore. You don't have anybody telling you got to be at school at a certain time. You got to study for this test. And this is what I tell kids when they ask me, should I go to school or not? And my answer is generally yes. Like, for 99.9% of the people, the answer is yes. And here's the reason why. If you didn't have somebody forcing you to go, many of us wouldn't go. Many of us wouldn't do the work. Joey,
Yes.
for you, when you were finishing up your high school, and you had to go back and do some stuff because of your illness that you had to go through in high school, if you were just given the pass, what's the likelihood that you would have gone back to learn the math that they forced you to learn, like, on your own?
Very low. Very low.
Probably 0
Yeah,
to 0.003%.
If there was no pressure there, probably, yeah, exactly.
Probably. I mean,
probably not
like
at
if you
all.
just didn't have to do it, and
Yeah.
the chances of you choosing to do it, they're like 0,
Yeah,
right?
unless I needed it for something. If I needed it really bad for something, I would have done it, but it probably would have been much later than I did it.
Sure, and it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
maybe as condensed. It wouldn't have been as, because here's the deal. Like, they put you under a time constraint and said, you got to do it by this time. You have to know it by here, and then you have to get a test. And if you don't pass the test, you don't pass this part. Like, that's the good part about school. The good part about school is they put you on the rails, and they teach you how to do things in a certain way by a certain time, and they put time limits on it, and they say, you got to do this thing, you got to finish this thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And when you get into the entrepreneur world, which is where we all live, all of us live in the entrepreneur world if we're trying to become artists and do this for a living. In the entrepreneur world, all of a sudden, you don't get to have a boss anymore. That's the hardest part. You don't get to have a boss. And you have to literally make your own decisions daily and tell yourself when you come to work. I know that was the hardest part for you working here was I want to only work with people that are self-motivated. I don't want to work with you if I have to pull you along. I've told you that many times.
Yeah.
And I get, you watch me get frustrated sometimes when I know I'm pulling you along And then you're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know, I'll get better. I shouldn't be as pouty as I am sometimes, but I get pouty. But I don't. Like, I want to work with people that want to get better, that want to be here, that want to push themselves, and that's the reason they're here. That's who I want to work with, period. I don't want to work with people that are like, what time do I have to be there? Don't ask me that question. Don't, like, what it should be, what time does the thing start? Cool. And then you process in your mind, how much time do I need to be there to get it done right, to go the extra mile? That's the thought that needs to happen. Well, here's the deal. When you're an entrepreneur, you're an actor, you're an artist, you're a business owner of any kind, nobody tells you when to wake up. You don't have a boss saying you have to be here at 7, or you got to be here at 10, or you got to be here at whatever time. You don't have that, right? And so you got to make those choices for yourself, and that's really tough. And then you get up, you do whatever you're going to do, and then no one tells you what to do in the day. Like, no one tells you. I mean, I told you kind of here. So that's why you should buy this book right here, because I'm giving you the tools that you need to be busy every day. And not like just like random busy work, but to actually be connected and motivated and active in your pursuit of being a really great artist entrepreneur. All right. It's harder than people think. And yet that's why people are not successful. So I think that the lie that's out there is that people think that acting is this elusive thing, or artistry is this elusive thing that nobody gets to do as their day job, only like the select few, and it's just not true. It's just only some people treat it like a business. Only some people run it like a business, which is what this chapter is all about, is about running your acting career, running your artistry career, running even your own business like a business. You got to do that. And I'm not going to tell you it's easy, because it's super not easy.
Well, and even if it's your like side hustle, then you still want to treat it like a business, like it's legit, right? So there's plenty of actors out there that do it for fun and do it like just because it's something they're passionate about, but they actually like their day job, whatever that may be. So they're like, yeah, I want to do this thing on the side. Well, even then, you still want to treat it with professionalism and put that same amount of attention into it, because it just leads to more success down the road anyway, and it allows for you to make money doing something that used to be a hobby.
100%. And I like the idea, like, if you could wrap your mind around this, because I tell people anyone can do this. Mm-hmm. You can. It's a matter of, are you willing to put in the work? That's the real question.
Yeah.
And how do I know that? Well, first and foremost, there are just thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of actors that are working actors. Okay.
Look at casting networks.
So you can do it. And then but how do I do it for a living? Well, what's a living? Like that's so erroneous.
Vague.
Like you tell me what a living is, and then I'm going to go, okay, so then you've made that, then what? Like, that doesn't make you successful necessarily. So that and it goes all the way back to goals. You got to set your goals appropriately, you know? Because then you're like, oh, I just want to pay my bills as an actor. Well, what are your bills right now?
Yeah.
Is that your lifelong goal? Like, the bills you have now, you don't want to grow and increase and, prosper and do different things. Like, those goals are so vague.
Yeah. So you're not one for excuses. So I'm just curious on this topic. So I'm sure you've got it before, but the people who don't treat it with that sort of care or attention or whatever, but then they're like, oh yeah, it's just a hobby. Like, how do you feel about that as a coach?
I love that. If they say it's just a hobby, no problem.
Gotcha.
Because it is just a hobby.
Sure.
Like, I have no problem, because here's the thing, there's no downside to acting. We have so many success stories in this studio of people who come in and they do treat it like a hobby, because it is a hobby, because they're not trying to make this a side hustle. They're not trying to make this their day job. They don't care about that. I mean, I'm talking about tons. That's the whole reason why we're able to do so much big corporate work, because this stuff applies to your life.
Yeah.
We got our man right now, JD. who's in the classes.
Yeah.
He's a dentist. I don't know if you know that, but he's like a
he's
like a legit doctor of the teeth.
Doctor.
And he came in specifically. I actually was the one that answered the phone when he called in to take classes, and he specifically said, I want to work on like my confidence presenting in front of people. I want to build a new community. Like I'm just trying to get make myself uncomfortable. Like he has specific goals that we're already knocking down, and he's already accomplishing certain things. He could leave tomorrow and he'd have probably already opened the door in just a couple months into what he really wanted originally.
But JD, if you're watching this, don't leave. That was just an example.
Well, no, but he can. But he
Just
can.
kidding.
But here's the reason why he won't. Because as we've opened the door, he has seen, oh, this hobby, there's more to it than I thought. And I've watched him grow, progress, enjoy. He's built a community. People love him here. Like he's now at a place where it's like this has opened up a whole new world for him. That maybe he does like get more serious about it, or maybe he just wants to maybe perform every now and then, or like it's just he's realizing, wow, like I didn't know I could grow as much as I did so fast. I wonder what would happen to my business, to my speaking career, if I stuck with it another year. I wonder what would happen if I stuck with it for 2 more years. Like those are the kinds of questions you ask yourself if you're going to be next level successful. But the point is, if you come in and you say, hey, this is a hobby for me. Cool. Like, cool. Tell me that so I know that. And then I treat you as such. And it's like, I'm going to make sure you're growing. But my expectation of you might not be that of this is your business. This is your lifelong pursuit. Now, if you say, I'm a professional actor, I want to be a professional actor, what's wrong? And then you show me what your habits are, you show me what your daily work is, and I'm going to go, well, just show me your journal. I don't have a journal. Okay, well, show me your goal sheet. I don't have a goal sheet. Okay, well, show me your daily, what you do for acting every single day that you never miss over the last 365 days. Show me that. Why I don't do that? Well, then I'm going to go, well, then you're not a professional. Like, don't say you're a professional. You're not a professional. You're just not.
Yeah.
And so the very first part of Run the Business in this chapter is you are a startup. Understand that you're a startup. And what is a startup? And that's the thing I was talking about earlier that's been glorified. To be a startup business is like the, Bill Gates in his garage, building some, we're a startup business and we're doing our thing. A startup is not glamorous.
Yeah.
At all.
For sure.
It is people willing to do work without getting paid, grinding super long hours, having second, third jobs just to do their passion. A startup is like, I got nothing, and I'm willing to put everything I have into this thing and still survive and put everything I have into this thing. That's the way it is. So most startups fail. These are facts. Most startups fail within the first 2 years. And that makes sense for what we've seen too, as far as
Sure.
like our turnover here as actors. Most actors quit within the first 2 years. And I tell you that you're going to be successful. I guarantee you that you'll be a successful actor working if you don't quit.
Sure.
If you work, you do the things that it takes to be great, and you don't quit, it'll be what you do for a living. I can't give you an exact time, because that depends on the individual. It might depend on a few breaks here and there, and it depends on honestly your work ethic, period. But I don't get to be the one that says like when the turn's going to happen. But it will happen for those who put in the work consistently and don't quit. That will happen.
For sure.
And I've seen it. We have experienced actors who have gone from obscurity, from nothing, from having barely started into major network TV shows, having full-blown careers. Seen it, been done. And we've also coached the other side. People who are already famous came in for extra coaching and helped them transition into new ways of being. Fine. But all I'm telling you is I can see the DNA of the people that are going to make it. Like I can smell it out. I know what that's like. So you want to understand you are a startup. So to be a startup means you're going to need some capital. You're going to need to invest. If I was a startup company and I was gonna let's say I wanted to sell hats. Okay, and I have this great idea. I'm going to sell hats, and these hats got my brand on it. And it's like, this is my thing. Okay, well, what do you got to do first? Is you gotta invest in the design. You gotta invest in the hat. Like, that's your product. Your product is the hat. If I don't own any hats, if I don't invest in creating the hat and making the hat better, I'm never gonna sell a hat I don't have, right? Well, as an actor, as an artist, your product is you. You are your product. That's why I'm so passionate about people training. I mean, I've even given away classes. I've given away months of classes to people, as long as their excuse is a good one, because I hate excuses. But if there's something financial, something legit, I hate watching people backtrack. And if you take a month off, you're likely to take 2 months off. And if you take 2 months off, you're likely to take 3 months off. And the next thing you know, you're one of those people that come back 6 months later and you're like, I haven't found better training and I just want to come back. And I'm like, what have you been doing for 6 months? Oh, yeah, I got a student film. And I'm like, that's great. I think you should do student films, but why were you not training over the last 6 months? Imagine where you could be. So I believe in, you just got to keep training. The training is your product. That's you making the hat better. And you can't sell something that you don't have. So you be honest with yourself. Right now, my brand is unknown. Well, let's say I invest in some hats. Okay, and I got on this hat example. I'm gonna sell a bunch of hats. Okay, cool. Now I've bought 100 of them, and I want to sell 100 hats. Okay, and there's another hat brand, one that's really well known, some famous company. There's a Louis Vuitton hat. Okay, and the Louis Vuitton hat sells for like $500. Do I get to sell my hat for $500?
No, absolutely not.
Because I haven't earned it. Louis Vuitton's earned it. I haven't earned it.
Yeah.
Even if we use the same materials, I don't get to sell my hat for the same amount of money that they sell their hat for. As a matter of fact, I might have to give away my hat. I probably am going to have to give away my hat to get rid of the 100. If I give it away, though, and people see it, and they touch it, and they feel it, like, wow, that's really good quality. That's like as good as Louis Vuitton hat. They're going to be like, where'd you get that? Then they send them to you, and you're like, oh, here's a hat. And then maybe you get to sell it for a low price. And then eventually you get to earn the right to make more money. That's how it goes. So in the beginning here, as a startup, understand that you're going to be spending money. You're going to be investing money. You want to know where to invest it, what's smart way to invest your money. You will probably, if you're like 99% of entrepreneurs that make it, you're going to be in the red, which means you're going to be losing money for at least the first couple of years, maybe longer.
Yeah.
But what's cool is if you track all that and you treat it like a business, you having lost money, you actually get to get some of that back from the government when you go tax time. If you organize yourself properly, which is all in the book here, but if you organize yourself properly, you can actually, get tax write-offs for things like going to the movies. Like as an actor, that's a tax write-off. Netflix is a tax write-off.
Yeah.
For an actor.
And people don't realize that.
They don't realize it.
Yeah.
And now I'm saying that out loud because that's the way it was. Whenever the last time was I checked into it. I have an accountant who does all this stuff for me now. So you do want to check in with an accountant for sure, just to make sure that the certain laws are still the same because things do change. But the point is, as a performer, as an artist, you want to pay taxes, but don't pay more than you need to. But run your stuff like a business and understand what a business is, what a startup is, and how to transition and go from there. Okay.
Well, and you talked about the investment, and what's interesting about that is the investment into it is different for every person in this industry. So a lot of things are similar, but first off, you always got to invest in training first and then continue investing in that because that's what's really going to get you to the next level. But then some people might invest in like microphones like these because they want to do a podcast, or like for me, I want to be a sportscaster someday. So one day I want to have a studio.
Yeah, but see, and I have a feeling about that. Now, if you just have the money, fine, but probably you're gonna waste it. I know I've wasted it many times in the past, but basically, and I've told you this before, my philosophy on this stuff is I don't get the microphone until I've earned it. Until I know how to use the microphone, until I've already exacerbated all the options that I currently have, I'm not going out and buying new microphones. That would be silly. because I don't know how to use it yet. I don't even have a consistent, guarantee I'm even gonna use it. And how many
Sure.
times do people buy things? How many times have I bought things and I didn't spend the time to learn exactly how to use it, and it ends up in the closet?
Sure.
And so you have to be certain that you're not just buying things because that's the distraction of the thing that, oh, this thing I want to do, but you're not actually doing what it takes. Like I would say, for me, and I know I didn't do this. I don't get the microphone until I've used the microphones we have, until I've used all the equipment we have consistently for years. And then I'm like, okay, we need to step this up because this has become a serious thing that we do every day. The setup takes too long. So then I go through my cost analysis in my head, and I'm like, by buying these microphones, we save money in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you buy the stuff. Like that's where the investment should come from, unless you just have a ton of money. But even then, it's like, be careful, because you could have the most beautiful studio in the world and not know how to use it, and nothing happens.
Yeah. You gotta be smart about it for sure.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I like to use this analogy. I use this in my other book, The Best Listener in the Room. But imagine a guy who was learning to play the piano. You've heard me say this before, but he's learning to play the piano, and he learns Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Perfect. This is the analogy that actors use. I just started playing the piano. Oh, I learned Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That sounds good. My Twinkle Twinkle Little Star sounds really good. So I'm going to go out and buy a Steinway piano. And I think that, I just don't know why I haven't been booked at Carnegie Hall yet. I can't understand why other piano players get booked at Carnegie Hall and I haven't. Well, bro, all you know how to do is play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You're not a pianist yet.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't earn it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the analogy I want to use. Like a lot of actors come out of the gates and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy this and I'm gonna go buy that and I'm gonna go and I don't understand why I'm not in the movies yet. Well, like, really? There's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that want to do this. You got to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put in more work.
Yeah.
If you do that consistently, eventually, people give up. That's the greatest part. Because I'm telling you, if you give up, you'll win. But most of you are going to give up. So if you're one of the people that doesn't give up, eventually you win.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, all the people in your demographic, they kind of drop off, and then you're there. That's how it works.
100%.
Okay, cool. So we're going to invest in the business. Okay, so then the last part I want to talk about today is so we've talked about what your product is. Your product is you. You got to invest in you. You need to train. Period. Now, the other thing you need, if I'm going to sell hats, I need customers. And I already talked about, giving away your product. You got to do that. You got to be willing to work for free. You got to be willing to take what you're worth. And right away, you're not worth anything. No offense. That's just the way it is, because you haven't earned it yet. So you give it away for free. You start earning value. Great. Okay. Now here is this might be, Joey, the biggest absolute, like, knock it out of the park secret in this book. And that is the idea of generating repeat customers. Because that's what you're going to do as a hat salesman. If I'm going to sell a hat and I sell a hat to you and you love the hat, okay, I am a moron if I don't hold on to you as a customer and put your name on a list so that the next time I come out with a new design of my hats, that I can market it to you and say, hey, by the way, I got a new style hat, because you're likely to buy again.
Yeah.
You already bought once, you're likely to buy again.
Mm-hmm.
As actors, we don't think about that. So who are our customers? Our customers are producers, directors, even cameramen. They are student filmmakers that are going to eventually become your customers. These are your customers, and you need to market to them. And here's how you market to them, because I've seen it done well and I've seen it done poorly. Yes, be grateful. Yes, send thank you notes. Yes, those things are all great. Yeah, you can have a website, of course. That's not the end-all, be-all. You can have business cards. You don't necessarily need them. It all depends, because some of those things can become like weird as an artist. Like, here's my actor business card, But at the same time, it can be very convenient. So there's pros and cons to all that stuff. But the main thing is staying in touch and keeping people informed. So I say that you collect people and their emails and their phone numbers, and you have this big database of people who are your customers or potential customers, and then you come up with a marketing strategy. So in order to reach these people, let me make sure that I invite them to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and if those things are going to still be around a long time, whatever marketing platform we're on. Let me make sure that they're on an email list, and I send out an email once every 6 months. If it's once every 6 months, I don't hate you.
Yeah.
If it's once a week, as an actor, I'm kind of like, you don't have a new product every.
Well, and it
every
depends.
week.
It depends on what you're doing too, what part of the process you're in. If you're legitimately making content all the time, and you want to put out a monthly email or every 3 months versus every 6 months, as long as you've earned that, I think that's cool. Right?
Well, yes, but let's go back to who are your customers.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
because and if we're going to talk about artistry, there's going to be the people that are going to hire you, and there's going to be the people that are going to consume you, and those customers are different. So
there
for
has to be a
instance,
funnel.
right now we have in our business we have casting clients.
He's using espresso cups as little pieces, but you can't see it.
We have casting clients. We have corporate clients. We have our acting school clients. We have all these people that use our services differently. I would be stupid to send everybody everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So and as an actor, I have a database of people who hire me to be an actor. I have recurring business that comes in. My wife and I both do. I would be stupid to take those people and send them all of my youth acting classes, for instance, if they don't have kids, and I'm sending them all the information on all the things that they don't really care about. They're going to go eventually unsubscribe. Not interested. You want to be able to break those things apart. So yes, it's fine to put out a weekly thing, but I'd rather put out a weekly thing to 5 people that really like that thing than to put it out to the 1,000 people that I have who are going to be like, dude, this guy's so annoying.
Yeah.
He keeps sending me stuff that I don't care about.
Sure.
But if I hire you, Joey, and you do a good job on my set, you follow through with a thank you, like all is good in the world of Joey and my relationship, you sent me a thank you email, great. And then 6 months later, I get an email from you. And it's just like, hey guys, Joey, just want to share, here's what I've been up to. Want to say thank you to all the clients I've been working with. Love you guys so much. And I'm on the list of people you're thanking publicly to all the other clients, all my competitors. You're emailing and going, this guy hired me. I'm going to go, yeah. Then when 6 months later comes and you send me another email, I'm gonna say yes to opening that email because I'm gonna go, I wonder what he's up to now. I wonder who's hiring him. Then I might get even competitive and go, hey, can we hire Joey again? Do we have anything coming up? Because that guy's great. I remember him from whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's been doing some big things. Like, that's a good thing. That's a thing where you get on a list of recurring customers. And so as an artist, take this with you because I have to wrap up the show here. But take this with you. You want repeat customers. That is the holy grail of being an artist. If I'm a painter and I make a painting and I sell it to you, I want you to come back and say, hey, can you make me another painting? I'll prepay you for it. That's what you want. Rather than having to go out there and schlep all your stuff on the street, you want people coming to you. That's the ideal. So as you go to castings, as you earn work, take the time to do your job and go out there and get repeat business by marketing, by keeping up with people. Because the repeat business looks like this. I get it all the time. Somebody text messages me and says, hey, I got a job coming up. Are you available? And I'll go, yes or no. Call my agent. And then we do the deal. It's amazing. That's not go have to audition. It's not any of those things. It's like you do the work, you follow up, you treat people well, and you'll get repeat business. And when you end up, and I wrote this in here, but if you end up with about let's say you got 50 customers, 50 directors, producers that will reuse you. You're a working actor. All you need is 50. It's not that many, actually. And you could do that in a local market, by the way. I've done it. You can have repeat business where you're busy every single week with repeat customers. And you can make it really good. I mean, it depends on your idea of good, of course. But you can be active and busy with 50. And you nurture those 50. And of course, but what's going to happen as soon as you get 50, you're going to want more. But with 50, even with 20, but with 50, you can fill a year with that, because not everyone's going to even produce or use you every year. Mm-hmm. So that's why you need more. But imagine you've got, let's say, out of the 50, 20 people hire you this year. Well, that's 20 gigs divided by 12 months. You do the math, you're almost working twice a month. And most of these gigs are going to be paying you in the thousands. Like that's how it works. So next thing you know, you're like, wow, I'm going to do the math. You're making a living. That's right. You totally are. And here's the way acting works, by the way, because you earn your way up, and then there are lucky breaks here and there. And it's the people that just lean on the lucky breaks that always end up crashing and burning. Because we've got a gig, and there's a casting going on right now, and we're bringing in actors. And there's a very specific age group they're looking for, very specific, combination of people. But there's a chance that the right combination of one family is going to bring home over 20 grand off of the casting we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we talk about this a lot, but the people who cash the check before they walk in are probably not going to get the gig.
They're going to be terrified. Yeah, they're going to be terrified. And it's like, yeah. That's why I don't even like to look at the money. Mm-hmm. When I get an audition, I'm like, hey, what is it? Am I connected to it? Can I do it? Do I want to do it? Etc.
Well, I think my favorite thing is, you said you don't like to look at the money, but sometimes you will because you have to as the actor. But you never tell your kids.
True. And
that's so huge.
And that's why I try to not tell myself. I try to undo what I know. Because you're right. I do look at the money just to see if it's worth my time, but not to spend it. Because if I look at it to spend it, I'm gonna get nervous. Like, it's just gonna happen. I'm just like everybody else. I'm gonna go like 20 grand. Oh my gosh, and I'll put all this pressure on myself. But if I'm just like, okay, this one's worth going to, cool. I'll put all my effort into it. And where I'm at, I have to make that choice. When you've got a family and you've got a business, that you have to decide which auditions are worth going to. So I'm like, okay, this one's worth it. Put in all the time, do the thing. Then I let it go.
Yeah.
And then ideally, you get the call and it says, hey, you landed the job. We go, which job? The one job. And I go, oh, cool, awesome, thank you. What are the date? Great. And then I go back to the email. I'm like, how much was that? And then I'm like, oh, good. Or all right, I'll take it. Okay. So that's our business, guys. It's not always fair. It's definitely not always easy, but it is awesome. And being your own boss is awesome. Being an entrepreneur is awesome. And making acting your day job is something that is just so cool. You can do it. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of commitment. You're going to have to invest in you, which is your product. You're going to have to really do the work to, what are you doing?
I'm investing in.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm giving visual representation of what you're saying.
Got it.
I'm trying to find new ways to incorporate myself into the show.
No, I liked it, actually. I couldn't tell if you were trying to tell me something.
Oh.
Like don't forget about the money.
Oh.
And I'm like, I thought I just said money.
Like last night when you had something written on your hand and you were like, don't let me forget I have something written on my hand.
That was the cutest. That was the cutest thing, by the way.
Right there.
All right. Anyway, invest in you. Aim for repeat customers, and the way you do that is by being good, by the way. And that's it. So thank you all for tuning in. Sure appreciate you being a part of our show. Thank you all who commented. Hello to Breezy and Dakota. Did we have Astrid on there? Did she comment?
Yeah, Breezy, Dakota, Astrid, my dad.
Love you guys so much.
Nick hopped on late.
Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share this channel. Help us spread this light-driven content to the planet. God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, Visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.
Have a chimpy day, everyone.